Wolverine.
Yes.
How are you, sir?
I'm good. I'm glad to be here.
It is great to see you. I have to say, this is a pure personal comment. Directed two of my favorite movies, 310 to Yuma and Copland. Some pretty great movies.
Thank you, Jeff.
Some tough guy movies. Is this a tough guy movie?
This is a tough guy movie. I think one of the things you and I set out to do was, with the space we had, with making a movie just about Logan, and maybe there was another one that set out to do that, but it ended up with a lot of other mutants in it as well. We had enough space here to make a movie about Logan, about inside him, and about his journey and where he comes from and where he's headed.
Yeah, and some of the characters that we were introduced to in the comics that I mentioned, but then I've seen this film, and it's great, and it goes well beyond that. Tell us.
Well, the whole Japanese setting gave me kind of, I hoped, a license to change the tone a little bit, to ratchet things both up and down a little bit, meaning make the action, I hope you agree when you see it, a little more intense, a little more physical. You know, Logan is one of the few superheroes who can't jump tall buildings in a single bound, can't change the atmosphere, can't fly out of our atmosphere, can't pull a 747 down. But what he can do, other than knock over a bottle, is he can use his claws, and he has indestructible, he has an incredible spinal cord, and a skeleton, and he can heal. And it's like, what is so important to me about Logan in this is that we get inside the anger and the rage that has defined the character in comic books for years, but I don't think it's had a chance to be seen both in action and in drama in the film itself.
It's fantastic, and the we've seen Wolverine. This will be the 6th movie that he's in, I believe, and I think next year is 7th.
Well, that includes the 28 seconds.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But that's pretty incredible if you think that they were all portrayed by the same man. I mean, this man has been the same superhero more than Christopher Reeve was Superman. He's been,
Well, I think Jeff Hugh is. There's been some roles in history. I think Clint as the man with no name. I think Sean Connery as the first Bond. I think Hugh Jackman is in that strata. I think that he encompasses both. I think what fans love about him is he encompasses both the physicality of the role and also the heart of the role. I think no matter what he does and who he hurts and who he's cutting and who he's cursing, you can see in his eyes there's something beyond that. I also think, to just say, I don't think Hugh has ever been in this kind of shape for a movie before, and I think he's been in pretty badass shape before, but what Hugh did before we started this, after being skin and bones in Les Mis, and then bulking up for this movie, I think it's pretty phenomenal, and if you haven't seen it in the trailers, it is phenomenal.
So do we have a video message from Hugh?
Video message. We have a special thing we want to show.
Okay, well, whatever.
Let's. Where do I stand when you're running this? Should I tuck myself? I'll go. I don't want to. I'll get vertigo. You should put on your 3D glasses, and we should run this.
You guys want to watch a little of Wolverine?
Let her rip. 12 years ago to be exact. And I think he's done a pretty damn good job playing Wolverine over those 12 years. Mr. Hugh Jackman.
Hello, boys. It's good to see you guys all. This is honestly one of the greatest joys I ever get in this business, is to come here to Hall H to thank you guys for allowing us to do this. Thank you.
Hugh, it's so great seeing the character up there. It's so great seeing the Wolverine up there. And for you, I mean, what can you tell us about the journey the character has in this movie? It's an extraordinary change for him.
Everything Jim and I wanted to do about this movie was to make sure that for fans who have seen the X-Men movies, the first Wolverine movie, or for those who haven't, this is something completely fresh, completely different. Obviously, you guys know it emanates from probably one of the most famous comic book arcs, the Japanese story or Samurai Saga. And 13 years ago, I first read that in my trailer, that comic book, whilst being in my trailer, filming X-Men 1, and I said to Lauren Shuladonna, this is the movie we need to make. Well, 13 years later, it's here. I think you get to understand way more about the character than you've ever seen before. And as many of you have said to me on planes, in the street, in various places around the world, you finally get to see the Berserker Rage in full. So I hope you enjoy it.
And James, I wanted to ask you a little bit. We have some more time. What, for you, one of the things that you got to do in this film is we see a Wolverine who does suffer, who is in peril, because he's always healed before, but things are a little different in this movie, right?
Well, I don't want to give anything away, but I think that one of the things that we wanted to explore in this film that was resonating throughout Claremont Miller, and I think is a big issue for any character that doesn't die, that can recover from any injury, or in Logan's case, I guess almost any injury, is how do you go on living when everyone you know and love fades away? What is that like? We've seen even in the first Origins and in the other X-Men and in our film, we see Logan's been present through history. And we know through the comic books he's been present through history. He's been here a long time. But what's that like? Falling in love, losing the people you care about, watching people die and having to start again. And let's be honest, Logan is exactly the most socially adept character we've ever seen in comic books. So when you lose the people you're intimate with, at some point you start to withdraw and get low. And it was our decision when we decided where we're going to start this film in relation to the timeline of everything else, that we're going to begin when Logan's lost everybody. He's lost everybody. The X-Men, Professor X, Jean Grey, by his own hand, in fact. And so when we find him in the Yukon as Claremont Miller begins, we're finding also a character who has retreated from relationships with other living people.
And, romance doesn't always go well in superhero movies. In Marvel movies in general, I mean, the great romances would be, Peter Parker and Mary Jane or Gwen, and of course Tony Stark and Tony Stark.
Logan loves women. Logan has always loved women. If there's one place, you comment on it.
Yeah, no, we talked about this right from the beginning. There was another thing, apart from the relationship with Jean Grey, I felt we could go way further with it, and is in the DNA of the comic book series, is that his saving grace and his kryptonite is women. So finally in this movie there are 4 incredible female characters. There is, as you saw briefly there, Jean Grey is back. You get to understand probably more of that relationship, what it means to him. But there are 3 other great female characters, and personally, and on behalf of Wolverine, that was a great thing.
Sometimes I felt like we were making a Fellini film. With hardcore action. Chill out.
This is a little specific, but the claws look different this time around.
We retooled them a little, just a little. We did a couple things. I think you might notice the hair is a little less
nutty,
80s rock. And the claws we added. I actually went back and we had props. I was just looking at detailed drawings in Claremont Miller and saying there's a lot more bevels and a lot more stuff happening on these blades. The blades in the comic book were more lethal from every direction. And the ones that I'd seen when they brought out the ones that they had used in previous films, it looked like you could only get cut one way. Well, we wanted to make it you could get cut 2 ways. So
3.
There's a lot of puncture wounds in this film. Yeah.
Puncture wounds, you say, yes.
A lot of puncture wounds, yes. And some real puncture wounds, let me tell you. I am very, I'm trying to remember the name of that TV show I used to watch growing up. One of you guys will know. Danger, Danger, Will Robinson. What was that?
Lost in Space.
Lost in Space. Sometimes with the claws, I resemble the robot. I have punctured my thighs, my forehead, Mystique double, got it in the arm, so I'm a little dangerous with those claws. But so in the making of and also in the movie, there's quite a lot of puncture holes.
But he's brave. I mean, you see some of that fight when he goes, when Hiroyuki Sanada says, "What kind of monster are you?" and Hugh replies,
I need more sound.
Okay, never mind.
The Wolverine.
Nice. Sorry for the unprepared thing there. More echo, please.
It's better in the movie, trust me.
Yeah. But the point I was making is that fight between those two. Hiroyuki is one of the great swordsmen and martial artists of Japan, and a great action star there. And Hugh, he deserves it. He's amazing, and has a canon of films behind him. And that fight with long sword and short sword and claw was something to behold, and is on the film. Was also something for me kneeling beside the camera to behold in real life, because these two badasses were going at it with blades, and it was just about staying out of each other's way. Those were sharp.
You know, when the movie that comes out next year with Wolverine. With that film, Wolverine will tie Superman for a number of movies he's been in. And he will be second only to Batman, who is a DC Comics character, I'm told. Hugh, for you, and those other two, I mean, Superman's been played by 5 different actors, and this is your character is going to tie Superman. I mean, what is that like for you to kind of try to get your head around?
It's very, very difficult, and it's actually thank you. Well, really, I should be clapping you all, because when X-Men 1 came out, really no one knew how popular it was going to be, and that's because no one understood the power of the fans that are represented here today. And I am forever grateful to you all, because that was the first movie I ever did in America. I got the part almost 14 years ago, and I am loving playing it more than ever. But I hope you don't mind me doing this. I did it last time I was here, and I'm not someone to take things for granted, and who knows? This may be the last time I am here with Wolverine. I'm not fishing for anything, I'm just saying, who knows what's going to happen. But I have to point out, so many people for many, many decades before me picking up the mantle of Wolverine created, nurtured, and made that role into what it is. And some of them are not here today. There is one man who is Len Wein. Stand up, Len. Where are you, Len? Where's Len Wein? There's Len. Len Wein.
The writer of Hulk 180 and 181.
From this man's head, heart, and hand came my career. So thank you, Len. Thank you so much.
Let's hear it for Len.
But as some of you may know, I was by no means the first to be cast as Wolverine. Someone else already had the role, unfortunately couldn't do it. I know from several actors, Russell Crowe being one, that the part was offered to a number. Not only did I come off the reserve bench, I was somewhere deep in the stands when they were making this movie. And when an actor gets to come onto the field and get probably what I think is the greatest role out there, I'm not going to let it go easily.
Fantastic. All right, guys. Well, ladies and gentlemen, what do you guys think? The Wolverine? You guys interested? James, thank you so much for joining us.
July 26th.
July 26th. Hugh, thank you so much.